Okay, Josh, here we go. So we're running into challenges that are the result of really of the medium that we're working with. So there's a couple things. Let me bring you into the. Let's take you into this sketch here, the one that I showed yesterday, with all the different options. So when we are dealing with, so this is the one that has the diamond and all that. So what we've got here is a sphere that is created in, it's called a perfect sphere, and it is designed, it's a function of it. So that's as close as it can get to a round sphere. So let me turn on a different camera real quick here to give you a little bit better view of what we're dealing with. Okay, without my head bob. So when you look at this, it's not round. It's not a sphere. It's a bunch of polygons that are connected together. And that's the thing that we're going to run into with any of these strokes. So let's take, for example, this one right here. So this is the smoke that I have done around in a circle. And you'll notice right here that smoke is actually a flat stroke. So when I grab that, you'll see that from the front it looks three-dimensional, but it's actually a two-dimensional stroke. And the problem that we're dealing with comes with trying to curve that. So while we can curve the strokes, it's still a flat stroke. So from the right angle, it's still going to have that angularity to it. And that's because everything in the digital world exists based upon polygons. So we're not going to be able to escape. So right here, you see the V, that happens to be the outline of the bubble stroke. So we're going to be dealing with either flat strokes, which are angular, or polygons. That's the only options that we have to work with in here. So what we're going to have to do then is sort of cast off the polygons. So if you don't want the angularity, we're going to have to cast off the polygons. So what I've been working on today is trying to create a situation where we can do what you're trying to do. So you wanted the ability to have a nebula for just for the conversation we've been having. You'll notice even in here, so this is the smoke. If you turn it on the side, it's flat strokes, and you can see the angles there that were created as an artifact of me painting this into a circle. This is actually two items that I created and put together so that we could get a larger, that sort of expanding and contracting, changing sides kind of thing, so that the angles aren't as obvious. But again, if you look up here, you can see those angle artifacts. There's going to be no escaping that, not with my knowledge and not with the systems that we're using in place. So we're going to have to decide how to deal with that. So what I've done is I've set this up. I've been playing with all kinds of things. So I looked at, for instance, using this so that when you look at it from the side, This would be the front. This would be the side. You've got that. But when you look at the front, even though these are individualized strokes, because we put them onto it's what we call a guide. So a guide allows me to, and I don't even see where the guide is at the moment, but a guide allows me to come out and put something out there. And these strokes were placed onto that guide to get that circle. That's not really that important, except that that is how we do it. So I've been able to play with some things here, and none of them seem to be doing what I think you want. The challenge is that combination of wanting it to be expanding and the polygons not as visible. And the expanding, the only way that I know how to do that is with one of these dynamic brush strokes. So this happens to be smoke. The interesting thing about smoke is that even though I only have a single color picked, if you go in a single stroke, it's that color. But it's when you add a second to that, then it starts grabbing this a secondary background color, so that it, instead of becoming more dense, that's where you come up with this color. So that's what we're dealing with in that situation. So so that's what we're going to have to work through, and we're going to have to work through it fairly quick, because the amount of time that I have to deal with this by Tuesday is limited. So we're going to have to make some decisions about what direction you want to go. Now, as for the expanding and contracting, this is as good as I can do independently, so that it's just sitting there and moving. Is that sort of breathing motion that was created by creating the two different two different smoke rings, so to speak. So there's two smoke rings, and what we've got there, that's what it comes up with. So let me move that back there. Okay, so the other thing that we have to deal with is we have got these camera paths that we can use. So in these camera paths, you can see that I can set up different options for how this is going to display. Now, I've tried two different things. In this first path, what we've got is a camera that goes, it actually moves in and out along its path. So you can see the path there, and that moves it in and out, and that actually is probably the preferred method. The other thing that I have, let me turn this one on, is this kind of a situation where I have, on a straight line, I have changed the zoom so that it zooms in and out. Now, the thing to look at when you're looking at these is that star in the background. And I'll run both of these through so that you can see them. And so this is this first one. And this is what you're dealing with. Again, watch the star. See, so you get the image, you get the in and out that you're talking about, and we can change the speed and all of that. But in that one, since it's the camera zooming in and out from a fixed location, you're getting the entire environment scrolling in and out. I don't think that that's what you want. It's distracting. The second one is this other kind of path where the cameras move in and out along this path with this a fixed camera width. So when you look at that one, this is what we've got. And you notice that that star does go through, so it's somewhat translucent, but it's still, you're getting the pulsing of that by using the camera going in and out, in and out. So the question becomes, do you want to be looking from the front, or at some point are you going to be looking from the side? Because the original artwork that I saw was shot from the side, was from the side. So what I need to know is, are you going to be looking at a front? Are you going to be looking at the side? Or are we wanting to swing to do both? Because if we're wanting to swing to do both, then what we got to do is we've got to start mitigating some issues here, because as we swing on the side, you're going to see those. Now, there are things that I can do. Let me make sure I got the right stroke here. So let's grab this same stroke. I have the ability to, in the smoke, you got to start from the end. We've got the ability to sort of have those come out. We can have them come beyond. You're going to see some of the geometry there. So that's the challenge. Anytime that I've got one of these translucent strokes, it interacts with the light that's coming to it from behind. The other thing that we would have to do so that this didn't look so funky is we would need to establish a perimeter to that, so that when you came from the side, you weren't, it was a three-dimensional object. So we can do this with a series of strokes. That's not that challenging, but we just have to make some decisions because we've got to get this done, and we've got to decide how we're going to do that. So the smoke, I believe, is our best bet for trying to get the illusion that you want. I've been trying some other things, as I said, such as this, and this is just an attempt to get some dimension and translution in the front of this, so that whereas we have more like a, well, for lack of a better word, face. So in this case, what I would do, I would erase that. Let's try this again. So I'm going to start on the side that we're not filming from. And then each angle that you play with is going to have, similar kinds of issues with what we're doing. And the more I add back here, the thicker that noise where the two patterns are interacting. But I think that we can do it. There's options here. So this is actually, with this faded blue smoke that I have there, that seems pretty reasonable. And this is actually almost a black, the color on that. So you see it's in the blue palette, but it's down here, the black. That's how I was able to get that. So it comes down to, once we have a decision of which direction we're going to go, I can really start working on tweaking this, but we need to come up with a path, because again, I'm running out of time. And so if I'm going to give you anything that we can work with, we're going to have to make a decision pretty quick. Again, I'm leaving Tuesday morning, and after that, I'm done. So we're going to have to do the creation, the production, and any post-production work that you want. We're going to have to do pretty quickly here. So again, one last thing I wanted to show you that I forgot to mention earlier is that on this one where it zooms in and out, if your environment is set so that you can't see the world behind you, that works okay then, because that allows it to zoom in and out without it seeing the stars zooming in and out. So there's some things for you to consider, but they're all decisions that have to be made as soon as possible. Today's Wednesday, and we gotta get this done. So that's what I know. I will talk to you later. Lots to think about. Bye.